Something is happening across America that very few people want to admit out loud. Small churches, once the center of community life, are fading away faster every year, and the reasons have nothing to do with people losing faith. The truth is far more uncomfortable. Hi, I'm the Oracle. Today, we're going to break down why small churches all across the country are quietly dying, and why this decline isn't temporary, accidental, or reversible. These churches weren't just buildings. They were support systems, social hubs, and emotional anchors for generations. But something changed, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Please like, comment, follow, and subscribe. And before we go deeper, does this add up for you? Put your answer in the comments. For decades, small churches played a central role in rural towns and working-class neighborhoods. They were places where people checked in on each other, shared meals, celebrated milestones, and pulled together when life got hard. But now, in town after town, those sanctuaries sit mostly empty. The decline isn't slowing, it's snowballing. Membership is aging out. Young adults are staying away. Pastors are retiring with no replacements. Entire congregations dissolve quietly, leaving behind buildings that feel more like abandoned monuments than living communities. A major reason for this decline is the shift inside the churches themselves. Over the last decade, many small churches replaced spiritual teaching with political messaging. People came in expecting compassion, forgiveness, and community. Instead, they were met with long rants about elections, culture wars, enemies, outsiders, and loyalty to specific political leaders. Week after week, the pulpit stopped sounding like a place of faith and started sounding like a campaign stage. That change pushed out families who wanted spirituality, not propaganda. It pushed out older members who remembered when the church was neutral ground, and it pushed out younger generations who saw the shift with sharp clarity. Another powerful force driving the decline is the rise of hateful rhetoric inside church walls. Instead of being spaces of comfort and healing, many churches became places where racism, misogyny, and hostility toward LGBTQ people were openly endorsed. Sermons framed immigrants as threats. Women were told to stay silent and submissive. Marginalized groups were treated as enemies of the faith. This wasn't subtle. It was loud, public, and proudly repeated. The disconnect between the teachings of Jesus and the behavior of many churches became impossible to ignore. The Jesus described in the Gospels taught humility, compassion, and mercy. He challenged the powerful and stood with the oppressed. He welcomed outsiders instead of demonizing them. But modern American churches often preach fear, obedience, control, and aggression, the exact opposite of what Jesus taught. People didn't leave because they rejected Jesus. They left because the church no longer looked or sounded anything like him. Scandals only accelerated the decline. Even in small congregations, stories of financial abuse, spiritual manipulation, sexual misconduct, and corruption in leadership broke trust beyond repair. And in a small town, you can't hide a scandal. Everyone knows. Everyone hears. Once that trust breaks, it never comes back. Economics delivered the final blow. Small churches rely on aging members, limited donations, and buildings that are expensive to maintain. Heating, insurance, repairs, electricity, it all adds up. Many pastors need second jobs just to stay afloat. Volunteers are exhausted, and young people, who might once have renewed the membership, are not coming back. They value transparency, equality, and mental health support, not fear-based messaging or political lectures. When the next generation opts out completely, the pipeline that kept churches alive simply disappears. Small churches are not dying because America abandoned spirituality. They are dying because the institution itself changed into something people no longer trust and no longer want to belong to. The decline is real, permanent, and the natural outcome of decades of choices that drove people out quietly, one by one. If this matches what you've seen in your own town, Tell me in the comments.